Welcome back, viewers. We're going to jump right into core domain number 2, thermal curling. In this section, you will have 10 minutes to form 4 curls working from the frontal towards the apex. The proctors will read your verbal instructions twice. At the end of those instructions, they will tell you to begin. At that point, you will sanitize your hands and proceed with draping. From your previous setup, you should have on your working area your neck strip. You're going to drape with your neck strip and the nylon cape that is living on your working area. We're using a nylon cape versus a chemical or plastic cape or drape because this is not a chemical service. This is a non-chemical dry service. You will only drape once for this core domain and the next core domain, number 3, which will be hair cutting. If during this procedure or process your draping should fall away from your mannequin, please make sure you stop immediately and redrape your mannequin. We don't want any unnecessary points being taken away for sanitation and disinfection. Now we're going to move forward. I'm going to show you actually how we're going to section this out. So first we're going to create a mohawk section, a small mohawk section in the front. It's going to be about 2 to 3 inches in length. On your setup or with your setup, you should have a styling comb or a hair cutting comb that has the numbers. You're going to use those numbers or use that comb to measure out your section as I am doing. Once I measure out that 2.5 to 3 inch section, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to secure that mohawk area that I'm going to be working in. With securing the hair, a lot of people will ask the question, does it matter how many sections you have? Absolutely does not. You're just going to work in that mohawk section, and any hair that you're not using or utilizing, you're going to secure that or those sections or those areas. You want to make sure as you secure those areas that you're not using, that the ends are completely tucked in. And as you'll see, on one side, I didn't secure my ends properly, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to correct that. So for me, I'm going to divide the hair into 2 sections because once again, we only have 10 minutes. Now, during this time, as you approach the halfway point, the proctors will inform you when you have that 5 minutes remaining. There are no clocks, nothing ticking. You are not able to wear a watch or anything that has any type of time during your exam. So please don't bring those items, a watch or timer or anything of that nature into the exam. The proctors are gauging your time, and once again, depending on your timed task or section, they will let you know or inform you when you're halfway through that point. So as you see, those ends are kind of sticking up there, not acceptable. So after I complete securing this section here, I'm going to go back and make that necessary adjustment. So here I'm winding the hair down. And remember, your lengths are going to be super duper long, probably between 15 and 16 inches because you are going to have a new mannequin. So we can't have mannequins with any type of writing or measurements or anything at all. It has to be a new mannequin for your practical exam. So I'm going to secure with my clip in an upwards motion. And the reason that I'm doing this, or the why behind that, is if the hair should fall loose while I'm working, it will not fall into the area that I'm working in, versus me clipping downwards. If you clip downwards and the hair comes loose, guess where it's going? It's going into the area that you're working in. So we want to always work clean and neat. And there we go. Perfect. Now I'm going to move right into my thermal curling. I'm going to take that clip and I'm going to place it in items to be disinfected. Now I'm going to go into the actual procedure. You want to measure out your subsection parting. So the proctors are looking for you to measure the subsection part with the tool that you're using. So the width of your subsection part should be the same diameter of your tool. That is a 1-inch thermal iron. So your subsection should be what? Yes, 1 inch in width. I'm going to now secure the hair that I'm not using at this point in my mohawk away. So once again, I'm working very clean, very neat, and with intention. You want to make sure your parts are clean, and then you're going to go into testing your iron. As I said earlier, you can use anything white, end wrap, neck strip, napkin, tissue. In a real life situation or scenario, the iron would be on. So testing the iron would allow you to see if the temperature is going to be too hot, because we do not want to burn or chemically damage the hair. So here I am, I've tested my iron, and you only need to test that for the very first curl. I'm going to smooth or warm my base, the front of the hair strand and the back of the hair strand, and then I'm going to proceed to form a base to ends curl. So what is a base to ends curl? You're going to place your iron in about halfway. You're going to rotate it. You're going to feed that hair through, and then you're going to release it. So it's rotate, click, and feed. They're watching you control the ends of the hair. So as you wind that Marcel iron down towards the scalp, you're going to make sure that you're rotating and feeding that hair through until you have those ends. And then you're going to place your comb underneath for scalp protection. Continue to rotate those ends out and then slide your iron out. So here I am with number 2, or curl number 2. Working neat, working clean, working intentional. And then I'm going to proceed to curl the hair. I'm going to warm the base. So I'm going to smooth in one direction, not two, not back and forth. Because when you smooth the hair back and forth with a hot tool, it's going to create those, or push those small pieces, those little short pieces throughout the head. It's going to push those up. You want your curls to look nice, smooth, polished, and sleek. I'm rotating, clicking, and feeding, controlling those ends. I'm rotating down towards the base or the scalp. As I get close to the base of the scalp, I'm going to insert my comb for scalp protection. Continue to rotate, click, and feed until I feel no resistance as I'm rotating. And then I'm going to slide the Marcel out. Don't worry about if the curls are going to be tight. Remember, you're working with lengths that are going to be about 15 to 16 inches long. So those curls are not going to be tight. And these are simulated curls. The actual curls were formed the night before by you with no product. You're going to make sure before you go into the exam that those curls that you formed the night before are brushed out. They're not pinned or clipped at all. I'm going in again, warming that base. Marcel in, turn, rotate, rotate, feed, rotate, feed, rotate, feed, rotate. Uh-oh, had a oopsie there. So what happens if this happens to you? Guess what we do? We start over. So I'm going to collect that hair in that subsection. And I'm going to form that curl again. So same procedure, warm the base, smooth it, silk it out. Thermal iron in, rotate, click, rotate, feed. And when you feed, you should hear the click. Rotate, rotate, click, feed. And we're feeding those ends through that iron. Once we get close to the base, take the comb, place it under the Marcel iron for scalp protection. Rotate, click until there's no resistance, and slide the iron out. This is my final curl. Measure my subsection part. It should be 1 inch wide. Smooth the base. Smooth the base. Insert my iron, turn. Feed, rotate, feed, rotate, feed, rotate, coming down towards the scalp. Place the comb under for scalp protection. Rotate those final ends through that Marcel until you have no resistance. You're going to rotate, rotate, and now slide out. You have just completed core domain number 2, thermal curls. You're going to place your Marcel on your working area. Comb will go into items to be disinfected. And then you're going to sanitize your hands. And wait for the proctor. Our next video will be core domain number 3, 90-degree haircut.